Hey everybody, it's Mr. Half Day here. Decided when I'm going to work today, my first 12 hours and my second 12 hours. Today is Monday. I call it Manic Monday. This is where I make all my phone calls for the week. Whether they're follow-up calls, whether they're new calls, whether it's setting appointments, I really like to do it from the desk in my home to make sure that I'm comfortable with it. The key to everything in making your calls is knowing what you're going to do. If for some reason you call someone, you don't know who you're actually calling, you remember, you don't have their information in front of you, and you're not using a CRM program, you are in trouble. You must know what you're doing. Because if you call up someone and say, hey, I did this and gone through that process, and they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about, we just placed the order with you, you're looking silly. So make sure when you do make those calls that you have the information on the person, that you have the information on what you're trying to sell the person, and then you have the actual follow-up to make sure that you know exactly what you spoke to them about and go from there. Now there are CRM programs and there's spreadsheet programs and there's a lot of things that people use, but it really comes down to knowing what you're doing before you make the call. Don't just try to bang out 100 calls a day. Banging out 100 calls a day really does nothing for you. What you should do is make sure the quality of what you do call from the 9 a.m. to the 9 p.m., depending from East Coast to West Coast time, is out there. So this is Mr. Half Day telling you, make your calls, know what you're calling about, follow up, and decide as to what you're going to work today.